Hey guys, I wasn't planning on making a video this morning, but seems like some things are happening that are at least worth discussing, at least worth being a little concerned about. So before I went to work this morning, I thought I'd upload something um, because it's April 15th and things are starting to look a little troublesome, maybe more than a little. So to run it down real quick, a couple weeks ago there was a report that Russell Wilson's camp was saying, um, give me an extension by April 15th, which is today, or I'm gonna shut it down. I'm not gonna talk about an extension right now. And I was like, okay, I get that. He doesn't want to get distracted by that talk. And then there was a report maybe 2 days ago or yesterday that was questioning whether or not Wilson wanted to remain in Seattle, that he might not want to be here anymore because of this or that reason, that maybe he wants to go play in New York, a bigger market, or he just wants to go to the East Coast. And I saw that and I didn't take it that seriously, but I did note it. And then last night, there's a report saying that if Wilson does not get his contract extension by tonight, by the end of the today, he will never sign an extension with Seattle, like ever. And I didn't take it that seriously until I saw this morning Schefter reported it, and Schefter is pretty reliable. So now I don't know if this is just a contract leverage thing where their camp is just trying to say whatever they need to say to get an extension done right now. I don't know if it's legit. I don't know if the Seahawks organization is being, a pain in the ass about these extensions and are lowballing him. But it, it it's not a good feeling right now, because as much as I have criticized Wilson over the past few years because I think that he's not been as good as his numbers indicate, I think he's made mistakes. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he should continue to be that for at least another 4 or 5 years. So to me, none of this is reason to feel good. And also, I heard rumors yesterday of maybe we're looking to trade Frank Clark because we're going to have to give him 20 million a year because that's what DeMarcus Lawrence got, and we might have to give Frank Clark even more. And we're like, we don't want to do that. I kind of get that, but these two things, coupled with the fact that, of course, we lost Paul Allen a couple several months ago in the middle of the season last year, and now we're owned by his sister, who doesn't seem as passionate about the team, and we don't really know what's going to happen to the ownership now. Guys, I have to at least ask the question, are the Seattle Seahawks becoming a cheap team? One of these teams owned by somebody who doesn't really care about football or doesn't have that much money, and they have to make decisions based off, I need to save money, instead of I want to win football games. And I know the salary cap in theory should make that kind of stuff pretty much impossible. And I know Paul Allen's sister should be obscenely rich because of what she inherited from Paul Allen himself, who was by far the richest owner in the league. But even if that's the case, are the Seahawks becoming cheap? Because I get it. I get giving $40 million a year to one player sucks. I get that the Packers are going to be suffering for a long time because they had to do that to Aaron Rodgers. I get that the Vikings just cratered, below their expectations last year because they gave Kirk Cousins all that money. My thing is, if there are two positions in the NFL that determine your worth, that determine your team's ability to win games and go into the playoffs and win playoff games, number one is quarterback and number two is pass rushers. You can build around those two things, but if you have a good quarterback and you have a good pass rush, you are likely to do very well in the playoffs and give yourself a chance to win a Super Bowl. So we have that. We have a really good quarterback and we have a really good pass rusher, and it sounds like we don't want to pay either of them what they are worth, even though other teams in the league are paying similar quarterbacks and similar pass rushers massive amounts of money. And it's gotten me thinking, are we becoming a cheap team that is just like, we don't want to pay any one player this amount, even if they're worth it, even if we have to, even if it means losing good players? So, I don't know. I'm officially concerned today. I didn't like what I read last night. I really didn't like what I saw this morning when I saw Schefter reported, because Schefter is legit. And to me, if we don't get this contract extension done by the end of today, and it sounds like we're not, I'm officially going to be concerned that we are going to become like the Oakland Raiders or the Cincinnati Bengals or one of these other teams that just doesn't want to give big time players big time money. Wilson is just, he is worth the $40 million a year if we have to suck it up and give it to him. He just is. I know it's not going to be fun. I know it's going to lead to some tough decisions, but history shows us, you get a good quarterback, you get good pass rushers, you build around that with cheaper pieces, you can usually find ways to win a lot of games, go deep in the playoffs. You're going to have to succeed in the draft to get good offensive linemen, good receivers, good secondary players, good linebackers, but the great teams do that. But they have to have elite production at quarterback and from their pass rushers. That's what the Eagles did a couple years ago. They had two different good quarterbacks. They had like 5 different great pass rushers. Um, so to me, it's time to get a little concerned that for some reason this front office just thinks, why would we bother paying these players? I mean, we've got a great on a cheap deal. We've got a great wide receiver locked up on a below market value deal. We've got other really good pieces locked up for cheap deals like Trey Flowers and Shaquille Griffin, and maybe you could throw Bobby Wagner in there right now until he gets his extension. So my position for a while now has been, we may as well pay these guys because somebody's going to, and at the end of the day, they're the most valuable pieces in football, quarterbacks and pass rushers. But starting to look like we might not, and that's gonna suck if we end up deciding to move on. So not optimistic. I know obviously we have leverage because of the franchise tag, but I don't want to get involved in a franchise tag battle with Russell Wilson. I really don't, and I don't think anyone else does either. So I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll know more by the end of the day today, but I gotta get going. Weird day. I never thought it would come to this. I never thought it would actually get this dire. I really didn't. All right. See you later.